Hello, it's me, Goose. My original plans for the new video in 2025 was going to talk about enemies to lovers and rivals to lovers. And I plan on still talking about that. That's not going away. But me and my big bro, Yikes, go follow his channel, subscribe to him. He's awesome. I love him very much. Just left the screening for Nosferatu. Yeah, we're late. Hey man, it's been a busy couple of weeks, but we finally got a chance to go see it, and I absolutely adore it. I love every bit of this movie. Bobby Eggers, you are beautiful. I love you. Thank you for giving me my gothic romance slash gothic horror slash Bloodborne in movie form. I love it. I love it. So what I wanted to do was to briefly talk about the movie, talk about a lot of its themes, and just my general thoughts. I don't try to make this into a long video, but we'll see what happens. Spoilers. If you have not seen Nosferatu, I recommend going to your nearest movie theater and checking it out, or watching it when it comes out on streaming slash Blu-ray. I don't think it's coming on Blu-ray. I think it's streaming, but whatever. Also, I will be touching upon some pretty sensitive topics. The list of them are right here. If there are any of these items that might be triggering to you, I definitely recommend you avoid this because it hit me, so I figured it might hit other people. But I just want to give you a fair warning about it. I don't plan on making this video really heavy because that's not my goal, but I do want to discuss them. So these are the warnings here. So the thing about vampires is that they have various representations in media, right? The common idea for vampires are they're these, hot, immortally young, dignified, cool looking guys, or smoking hot girls wearing leather and jumping from high heights and drinking blood and turning into bats and you name it, the whole entire thing. They've had a good run. Like out of all the monsters you could possibly think of for, fuckability, vampires are pretty much out there, right? And that's fine. That's fine. I am never going to say no to a hot vampire in a European castle mourning his lost love from 1,000 years ago. There's never going to be a problem with that. But there's also vampires that are gross, like disgusting, monstrous, beastly, kind of vicious creatures that, have only one brain cell, and that brain cell is to fucking eat. And that's where Nosferatu fits in. Nosferatu, Lord Orlok, he fits in that category of fucking eat. He is not here to woo you with songs. He's not here to impress you with turning wolves into pets or tears into diamonds. That's not his game. He's like, hey man, I'm showing up at the club. I'm gonna take your girl. I'm gonna eat her. And then I'm gonna fuck her, or vice versa. And I respect that. I respect the hustle because the allure of monsters, and I will be getting more in depth of that in another future video, is that they are creatures with sentience, as it were. They know about our thoughts. They know about our feelings. They can mimic human emotions really well. There's a sort of dark romance about a monster that we monster fuckers are. The threat of being killed and eviscerated by them, as well as having sweet love making with them. It's a wild journey. I promise I'll get this more in depth. But Nosferatu isn't that kind of movie. You're not going to go into this movie, or rather, you shouldn't go into this movie thinking this is a love story between a beautiful young European girl and a hideous monster from the unknown forests of Europe. No. This is terrifying. A terrifying movie. And one of the topics I mentioned that I will be discussing in that spoiler warning slash trigger warning chart is the themes of sexual, no better way of saying non-consent. There you go. There's the theme of non-consent that happens in there. And that's kind of what a lot of vampire lore has, that we kind of skirt around that when we're doing our little vampire stories and stuff like that, is that they have the ability to control your mind, have the ability to control your mind, your thoughts, your body, to make you do things that you don't normally want to do because they hunt you. They kind of hypnotize you. You're held in their trance. They put you in a spell, so to speak. And Count Orlok, he lives on that model. One of the very first things that we see him do in the first shot of the movie is after Ellen is speaking to the universe to answer her prayers about, this feeling, this voice calling to her. And Orlok appears, and it's very set up in a way that's very romantic. And Edgar plays with you with that. He wants you to believe, just for that brief, sparkling moment, that it's going to be that kind of movie. Before Edgar says, "Oh, let me remind you, this is not this movie." Hold up, wait a minute. Cut the next shot, and she's just spasming on the ground. And you can look at it in a way that it's being a penetrative action happening here. But it's just to shock that into the viewer's mind that this is not that movie. You are not watching a love story like you're watching, Bram Stoker's Dracula that came out in 1992. This is not that story. And so if you go into Nosferatu thinking that this is, Bobby Eggies is just saying, "Oh, it's kind of darker, but it's kind of the same." This movie tells you that it's not. It's definitely not that movie. And Ellen's character is absolutely kind of refreshing for this kind of movie. She is a victim. She is being tormented by Count Orlok's manipulations, by his powers, by his magic from distances, by, his vampirism. What we can think of as charm, the charm of Orlok reaching into her mind and telling her, come to me and you will be mine and I'll blah, 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 blah. The reality situation is like, yeah, realistically, if this was happening in the 1800s, people would think you were crazy. The 1800s wasn't exactly a place known for understanding a lot of mental health issues. Okay. That wasn't the kind of vibe you had going on there. And you can see in the movie with Ellen that, is very much in tune with her desires. She's in tune with what she wants. She knows what she wants. When her and Thomas are waking up in the morning, she wants to fuck him on that bed. She's like, "Stay in this bed. Let's knock it out," And Thomas is the one that, "I got to go and do my job. I got to do work things," So she's not like, blushing maiden of, "Oh, I don't know what a penis is." She's like, "When are we going to slap hams?" And Orlok is a twisted, dark response to her. He is a evil appetite. He's not someone to reason with. You can't talk to Orlok and make him change his mindset. He is a person that has an all-consuming hunger for blood and flesh and you name it. This is the kind of guy that you think if he's going to fuck you, it's not a situation where there's some romantic act here. No Lucy laying on the stone bench in the middle of a rainbow with a werewolf on top. None of that happened here. This is darkness. This is not something you want per se to happen. And we follow this darkness that Orlok has over both Ellen and Thomas throughout the movie. When Thomas ends up in Orlok's castle, Thomas, played by Nicholas Hoult, is terrified. This man is ghastly. He's tall, he's creepy, he has a creepy, commanding voice, he's scary, and it's all shown through Nicholas Hoult's great facial expressions of, I should not be here. When you have that gut feeling of, this is not where you should be. We should probably get the fuck out of here. And by then it's too late. He's already entered Orlok's castle. He can't leave now. And so you see Orlok also putting his own force on Thomas, where, Thomas wakes up the next morning and he has these bite marks on his chest. He has no memory of any of this happening here, but his shirt was open part way and there was these bloody marks on his chest. And it happens to him again. And then when he expressly goes on and says, "Hey man, you signed a contract? Cool. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm leaving. I am bouncing." And Orlok Strap tells him, "No, you're not going anywhere." Wait, but what are you talking about? Leaving? No. You're my guest. You're staying here. And, of course, Thomas has to make his skip to get the fuck out of here because now he realizes that Orlok is this disgusting, creepy monster that's going after his wife. And you have that situation of both Ellen and Thomas were both victims of Orlok. They're both victims in his disgusting desires to have life, to take their life, to take their joy. He is a monster of destroying of joy, right? And this gets I would think more than I believe with Ellen and Thomas. This gets highlighted in, I'm gonna say, I'm assuming that it's her brother. It wasn't really clear, but I'm assuming it's her brother in Mr. Harding's family with his chunky little daughters and his beautiful wife and his wealth and everything. Mr. Harding is a wealthy man. He is everything Thomas aspires to be: a successful businessman who has a ridiculous amount of money, a beautiful, happy wife, two chunky children. The wife's expecting hopefully a boy along the way so he can pass down his business to his kid. Like, everything is perfect. He is living that perfect life. And it's something that Thomas wishes to aspire to. It's not, constantly referred to, but you can see that Thomas and Harding have a great relationship with each other, a mutual respect for each other. And Orlok comes into that situation and he ruins it, and not in a way that you expect, because one of the things that Harding has is that he has an appetite for his wife. He cannot keep his hands off his wife. Again, it's not proper. We see this when he's talking with Anna, his wife, on the beach after Ellen's latest, bout with her sickness, and that he wants to kiss her. And she's like, no, we're in public. And he takes off his hat like, yes, I'm going to kiss you anyway. I want you. I love you. And yeah, that's beautiful. It's romantic. It's true. He loves her and she loves him, and it's wonderful. But it's another indication of that desire, that hunger to take, to devour something of yours, or you perceive as yours. And as the movie continues on, we see the destruction of Harding's family when his wife and her kids, their kids are killed by Orlok. He drains them of blood. And Harding, who was once this powerful business owner who owns a ship, now is besieged with plague. He is contaminated with the plague, and he commits a taboo, a really taboo act. Again, if you know anything about Gothic horror and Gothic romance, taboo is part of the play. It's not a Gothic romance or Gothic horror if something taboo does not happen. Okay? Because it's made to be a response to the uptight, pure, intellectual life that the people in the Victorian era was currently living in. That's the response of where the Gothic horror, Gothic romance comes from. And so his taboo act is he goes into the Colosseum, the mausoleum where his dead wife and his children are laying. He rips open the coffin where his wife was recently laid to rest, and he takes her in that way. In that way, he commits an act on her. This is horrific. It's not shown. Eggers is very tasteful in not showing the act. You can just look at it and be like, oh my fuck. And some people looked at this as being a romantic love never dies situation. He was already dying himself, so he's going to be dying with the one he loves. I saw it and said, yeah, that's true that he is dying with the person that he loved, but also she's dead, man. There's no consent. There's no consent. You are taking your wife, as you have in life. You have constantly taken your wife, and while she's at rest, her body is at rest, she's fucking dead. You could not resist one more sexual act with her, bro, while your children are in the same brother. Brother. And the part of that is the madness. It's the hunger and the maliciousness. It's the plague that Count Orlok visits upon the village when he lands on its shore, is that he makes a sickness in everybody. He brings rats and plague and pestilence and, evilness when he comes upon that shore. But there's a darkness in everybody, man or female, where it can make you do things, if you don't have it in check, can make you do terrible, god-awful things. And so we see that contrast, that even though Thomas and Ellen love each other, I can promise you Thomas will not commit acts on Ellen's body without her consent. Like, the closest we get to something rough happening is after Ellen has her latest bout with her sickness, and she's on her hands and knees, she's crawling, she's drooling, she's, going through a sense of mania because of Orlok's controlling power. And she tells him, you can never please me the way he could please me. And, Thomas takes her, throws her on the sofa, and he does the deed right there. But in that moment, while he's roughly, penetrating her and everything else like that, Ellen isn't screaming or crying or, don't do this, anything like that. She is defiant. She finally is fed. She has gotten what she truly wants. She wanted skinship. She wanted a connection with her husband to feed her desire, essentially, which is what when she did years ago, she asked for Orlok. She didn't exactly explicitly ask for him, but she asked for someone to just be her, to match her freak. And be careful what you wish for. You bring the Prince of Darkness, apparently. But one of the things that really stuck out to me when that act was happening was she looks up in the sky and says, I want you to see it. Show him our love. Show him what we are made of. And it's defiant because at that point in time, her agency was taken away from her. She couldn't exist or function without some part of Orlok in her mind controlling her, making her think these things, making her feel this way. But now she's with the arms of the man that she chose. She chose Thomas. She married Thomas. She loves Thomas. And now she's in his arms and being loved by him, even if it's done in such a way where, the theme of them particularly were like aiming for something like this. But Thomas truly loves her and he gives himself to her and she takes it. She takes that love that he gives her. And so when we get to the ending of the movie where, Willem Dafoe and Ralph Emerson and Nicholas Holt's characters are ready to go ahead and be men with men parts and men with iron poles, and they're going to find Orlok and they're going to stab with their thick iron rods and kill the beast sort of situation happening there. William Dafoe's character already talked to, Lily Rose Depp's character and said, what you're doing is good. What you're going to do is good for us. At another time, at another place, you would be seen as a disciple of Isis. You would have been seen as a goddess or as a priestess because of what you were able to see and sense, your communion with the cosmic, with the unseen. You would have been respected. And she smiles at that because that makes sense to her. That there is something, she's not wrong. She's not a crazy. She's not any of these things. She's just she's born in a wrong time. And that's something that Orlok holds over her throughout the movie. You're not meant for mankind. You're not human. You're not meant to be with these people. You're meant to be with me. And Ellen doesn't believe that. She doesn't believe that she's a monster. She doesn't believe that she's a freak of nature. She's just different. She's just a different person. She doesn't deserve to be preyed upon by this piece of shit. She's just different. But now she knows that she is the one. She has the power to stop Orlok from killing any more people and hurting more people. And she's going to fucking do it in her way. And so, she takes it upon herself to invite Orlok. Now she says, you come to me. I'm not coming to you. You come to me. And he comes to her, of course, and she's wearing her wedding gown. And she's like, let's fucking do this. Let's go. And they have a situation where, again, the context of this, if you don't know, would be seen as, could be framed as a romantic wedding night. The groom is finally taking his bride and he's, satisfying his lust. But you remember that Ellen is like, I am doing the ultimate act of love to save my husband and save the world. And you, motherfucker, are moon dust. You are done. You are absolutely done. And so while he's drinking her blood and he's, running away on her, the sun is coming up. And she's like, yep, it's that time. And Orlok looks at the sun and he realizes he is fucked. He let his desires, his hunger, his appetite drive him to his own end. And he knows he's done. And Ellen rises to him while he's up and brings him back and says, no. Stay longer. Stay with me. Don't leave my side. Stay with me. It's a bookend to the moment she had with Thomas at the beginning of, I want you. I explicitly want. And that's where it is. You finally get to this moment in this movie where it's Ellen saying verbally, I want you to stay with me. You will stay with me. And Orlok, after everything he's done, and everything is done to her, stays. He does. Because it's over. It's over. He could have turned to a bunch of bats or rats or whatever and flew on to the darkness, but he doesn't leave Ellen's side. He stays with her to his own death, and it leads to them both succumbing and dying in the sunlight. But Ellen is at peace. She has took back what Orlok has taken away from her, her sense of peace, her sense of calmness, her sense of self. Even though it means losing her life, she now knows that she protected the one person that she loved very much with all her heart, and that was Thomas. She made the ultimate sacrifice for love, and she ended it her way. It may not have started the way she wanted it. She started it, not knowing the consequences, but she ended it on her own terms. Nobody told her what to do. She just knew what she had to do, and that's freaking amazing. That's freaking amazing. Like, I wish I could go further with this movie. I wish I could talk about this deep dive as much as I can, but I'm only so smart. There are way smarter people that can discuss Nosferatu down to like every minute, and that's just not me. I'm not that kind of goose, but I absolutely loved it. I really do recommend this movie if you love monsters, you love vampires. Bobby Eggers did a fantastic job. Everybody in the movie did a fantastic job. If Lily Rose doesn't get an Oscar nomination, I'm gonna fight someone. She deserves all her flowers. She was a fantastic actress because the strength of her performance alone is phenomenal. Everyone did great. Bill Skarsgård, wherever you are, the Crow or like, I would still 100% pound. Without hesitation, I would absolutely. But I highly recommend watching Nosferatu. If it's still in theaters, go check it out. If you have not seen it, when it comes to streaming, definitely recommend watching streaming. But understand there are trigger warnings, and be aware of them when you go see that movie. But yeah, that's it. That is it. That's my small tidbit, review thoughts, fresh out the theater reaction for Nosferatu. Man, I wonder what other movie in 2025 is going to really do, because that was from 2024. 2025's got a lot to live up to at this point, because that was definitely my favorite movie 2024. But until then, thank you all so much for watching. My name is Goose. I'm going to go cry myself to sleep. You guys be careful, drink water, and I'll see you next time. Bye.